Let us look at how you can add a click event to a button and later remove it. Looking at what we are going to build in this lesson, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Looking at these three buttons, you're probably thinking, since we are building how to remove events, the first button to click is remove. Well, let me give you a benefit of doubt. What do you think is the first button that should be clicked out of these three? Okay, let's go ahead. You are thinking the first button should be remove event, right? So I'll go ahead and click remove button. Did you see anything? No, there's no changes. What if I click on add? Nothing is changing. What if I click on test click? Nothing is actually changing. And that is because we are clicking the buttons in a wrong succession. So the right way to click this button to get an update or a message on the page is to first click the test click, then you come to add. You can see it display the text hello and then click on remove to stop the event. So let's go ahead and build how you can remove events from JavaScript together. There are 6 steps involved in this example. Number 1, we need to first select all elements, including the buttons and the p tag. Number 2, we need a function that will run when the test button is clicked. Step 3, we need to add events so that we detect when a user clicks. So step 4, we need to attach events to one of the buttons so that it becomes active. And step 5, we need to add events to the remove button, which will detect when a user clicks remove. Lastly, we remove the events from button in order to make the button to stop working. Now, let's go ahead and build the code that will give us access to the buttons that we can use to test on how to remove events from JavaScript. So here's my boilerplate code with some couple of comments inside it to guide us on what to do. So you can see that we have 6 steps of things to do here. Here we are adding elements in our HTML section, and here we also have where we can add JavaScript code in order to achieve our aim of being able to remove events through button click. So let's go ahead and start working in this boilerplate code. So first comment says add 3 buttons with IDs btn, btn1 and btn2. So I'm going to go ahead and add button. So this is going to be the first button, then second button and the last button. So now you can see that on my screen I have 3 buttons, but I'm going to change their text. So this one is, the first one is add, second one is remove, and the last one is test click. So now I have the 3 buttons that we need in this scenario. Then I need a p tag with an ID of demo1, p tag with an ID of demo, sorry, not demo1. And here is my p tag, which is where I'm going to update whatever I want to display on the screen. Now I can move inside my JavaScript, and this place is where I need to begin to add JavaScript code. The first comment here says get the button element and assign them to variables. So the first button is add. Then I can get it and assign it to a variable. Do the same thing for the second one. And lastly, the third one is test. So I can get it by ID and also select its ID, button 2. Now I have my button element, and they are already now assigned to variable. So I have the add, the remove, and the test button. Now let's go ahead and check out the next comment. Make a function that adds hello to the p tag. So here I need a function, and I'll just name it my function. And it's basically going to add hello to the p tag. So if I want to add hello, I need to get the ID of that p tag, which is demo, and use inner HTML to update its content. So what do I want it to give me? It's just this hello text. Now the next comment says let's add listen for click. So now let's now add an event listener that will listen to when any of this button is clicked. So I'll go ahead and add the first one for the first button, add event listener, which is going to respect two things, click and the function to run when a click is detected. So this function is what is going to run when a click is detected. So this one is for add button. Then let's remove listen for clicks. Now, also I need another one for when remove button is clicked. So this also will have an add event listener and it will take two things. Number one is the event that is listening for the click event and a function. And the function is going to do what? Is going to help remove event when it is click. So it is going to be btn2 dot remove event listener. So this is it. And as you can see now, we have uh, a JavaScript function for when add button is clicked and when a remove button is clicked and also when the test button is clicked. So before I explain what we have done here, let's go ahead and test what we just did. If we click this button in succession, nothing is going to happen. If I click add, oh, add is even showing hello, which means that something is wrong somewhere because add is not supposed to be showing hello here. So let me go ahead and see what is wrong. The add is btn. So okay, add, yeah, add differences now. Then click and function. Okay, click and function. Okay, okay. So now if I click on add, nothing is happening, remove, nothing is happening, and test click, nothing is happening. Now, because if you click them in succession, nothing is going to happen because that's not how the JavaScript code is wired. But if you click on this first, text click, and come to add, this should display a text, but it's currently not displayed. So let's inspect and see what is wrong in our code. Ideally, there's nothing inside the console, which means that something is definitely wrong in my JavaScript code. So let me start the troubleshooting. So I have the add button, it's btn, then remove btn1 and test, which is btn2. Let me move this up. Nothing is still happening. So a function that add hello, so function, my function, um, so my function, and then inside my function, what do I have here? Okay, I have a simple function document that get element by id inner.html plus equals. Okay, this is still not working the way I want it to work. Okay, test click, add, test click. Okay, So let's go ahead and test our code to see what we have. So before I begin to explain what we have in the code, let me just test it out to know if it works. So if you click this button in succession, add, remove, test click, nothing is going to happen. But this is how it will work. You click test click first, then you click add and go back to test click. Then this will display the message. When you click on remove, then it will stop the event. Now, let me come back to the code and explain what we have here. So what we are doing here is that we are selecting all elements. So all our button elements that we have inside the HTML is what I just did here. I selected each of them by getting their ID and assigning them to variable. Then number two is where we are making a function. And this is what we run when this test click button is clicked. You can see make a function that add hello to the p tag. So when you click this test click, this is the function that is expected to run. Then we add events here to the add button. So this button will be listening for a click event, and when the click event is received, it will run this function. And also we attach events to test button as well. And then another event to remove button, as you can see. So the remove event is what will remove the event from firing after it has been clicked. So immediately you do that, then the test button will stop working. So the process is that you click add, then when you click this add, let me refresh, the test button becomes active. Now, that is when you click add, this one becomes active. When you click test, then you see it pops up hello, and when you click remove, then the test button, you can see it stop responding. So this is how you can remove events in JavaScript. The add event listener helps you to add an event to an element. The remove event listener removes an event from an element, and the function must be the same function when adding and removing. You can see that it is the same function that we are calling both here and there. So if you add a remove event listener directly instead of add event listener this way, you can see what we have here. If you passed a function directly here, like if you do something like this, if you invoke it directly, it will not work because it's a different function. So the function needs to be passed here and not invoked inside that place. So with JavaScript, we are not limited to static events. We can add and remove events dynamically, giving us full control over how users interact with our application. Key takeaways. Number one, you can add events dynamically. You can remove events when needed. So this is used in toggles, controls, and interactive app. Now, removing events is important for performance and avoiding unwanted repeated actions.